guest here today, one of the most outstanding coaches in the Fort Bend District, a state champion in 2013, a man that has made the playoffs in plenty of years at Travis High School. We call it the Travis way. Mr. and Coach Craig Brownson, man, how are you doing? Thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Coach, obviously, was this you guys' last home game?
It was, yeah. Senior night last night.
Senior night last night. You guys defeated Hightower 91-80.
We did.
So I'm guessing you guys kept the scoreboard up?
Not on purpose. We just turned the clock on this morning. It was up there. So
91-80. Obviously, Coach, let's kind of just little. We're going to, here on the Easy Corner, we did beat history,
Sure.
past, present, future goals, but we're going to start off 91-80 last night. For these seniors, their last game, talk about knowing these guys like Timmy and Kale and a plethora of other seniors walked in that Travis knowing that, this is their last game.
Yeah, it was a special night. Senior night's always special. There's a lot of emotions with senior night. I try to make sure they all know how special they are to me. We have, again, they're great basketball players, but more importantly, they're just like the best young men you can be around. They've got kind hearts. They're liked throughout the school. And that's what is a joy. We don't have many rules, but the one rule, and I probably can't say it, don't be a jerk. We don't want jerks, and the kids who make it through, it's a competitive process from freshman year. We tell them the circle gets smaller as you move up. The ones who make it through are very good basketball players, but more importantly, they're great kids. They're great teammates. They're great people. They make our job as coaches easy. They have all of my heart. So
this team specifically, 28-3.
28-3.
28-3. Coach, in the beginning of this season, did you ever think that it was gonna come to 28-3? Just tell me.
No, not at all. We started getting together last spring, because we graduated 9 really good seniors last year, off a really good team. We only had, Cam and Timmy and Chino had all played major minutes. David Brewer had come up and played some. But it's hard when you don't have, that experience playing at Fort Bend. We played spring league and kind of got to incorporate some of the younger guys, and then went to TABC in the summer and the fall league. And we definitely had our ups and downs. There were things we had to, tighten up, habits we had to correct and fix. 28-3 is it takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of things, but these guys have impressed me. Cam and Timmy have just taken it to another level. And it's been a really special, me just getting to watch their growth and their growth as a team. The team's extremely close. They play for each other. Even as good as Cam and Timmy are, there's no egos, there's no entitlement, there's no jealousy. And so, again, they're easy to coach, and it makes it, fun.
One of the things I noticed about this team, Coach, is you guys find ways to win. It just possession. I see you as a coach and your team is valuing the possession. You guys are 28-3, but there's been a lot of close games, but you guys find ways to figure it out. As a coach, how do you pour in that mentality to win games like that?
It's just, you do it in practice every day. We play 2-minute games at the end of most practices where we're, in those situations. It's teaching them, it's not about the last shot. It's about every play. It's about making the tough play, getting on the floor for a loose ball, boxing out and getting that last rebound. But like you said, we've, Bush, both times, close games, we found a way to win those games. That's the difference. The Ridge Point game, close game down the stretch, we found a way to win that game. And we've done it all year, except for the other night against Clemens. And it's just, again, a testament to them and their belief in what we as coaches try to emphasize to them.
Obviously, the season is coming to an end. The playoffs are about to begin, even though we know you have one more game against Ridge Point.
Yes.
But when I talk about the 28-3 and the grit that your teams to win those close games, how dangerous of a team, like that kind of team, in a playoff game, knowing that the battle scars you endured during the season and able to pull out wins. How does that experience in a season can translate to a one game playoff and elimination?
Oh, it's huge. And that's what's always been great about being in this district is if you make it out, like there's always more than 4 teams who are playoff ready, playoff teams, but only 4 of us get in. So we're always battle tested when we get to the playoffs because we've seen different styles. We go against great coaches. We go against great talented kids. And so having that, like we've been in these situations before. We had a packed house last night. We had a packed house when we played Ridgepoint, the games at Wheeler, so we're used to kind of that playoff atmosphere. It's always different. Kids, the first time they walk into a playoff, it's a new experience for them, but we've been in very similar situations throughout the year.
Coach, one thing I want to talk to you about, and I actually kind of talked to Cam about this on the show. Talk about your amazing coaching staff, because I feel like I told him on the episode, I feel like every coach has a voice. Every coach is part of that 28 wins. Every coach is just part of those 3 losses. They're probably thinking, what could have done better? So talk about how your assistant coaches are affecting these games and leading to 28 wins.
Oh, I mean, it's crucial, because I'm a voice. They get tired of hearing my voice all the time. I mean, it just, for some of them, like Cam's heard my voice for 3 years, and I love Cam, and Cam, I think, loves me. But sometimes it's like, same thing over and over again. But these guys, like, they do an excellent job with just building relationships with our kids, keeping about more than basketball, coaching them in different ways. Everybody's got a different style and wants to be coached a different way. So they have, I always have to be the bad guy. That's because I have to make sure, we're holding accountable and stuff like that. But, Coach Griffin's amazing. I've got 2 guys who've been head coaches before on my staff. Yeah, with Trey Austin. Yeah. So I mean that's crucial. And I always want to hire the best guys if I have any control over it, to prepare our kids the best. Because again, I don't know everything. Like if they've got ideas, if they see something, they're seeing things that I'm not seeing out there too. And so I want to hear from them, and I want their input on what we need to do, how we can be better. And again, like nobody builds relationships with kids like Coach Griffin and Coach Austin.
28 years in this district.
Yeah.
I'm an alumni of this district. Night in and night out, just talk about how amazing this district is in the game of basketball.
Oh man, it's special. Like thinking back, from the TJ Ford, Willow Ridge teams, through, our teams in 2011, 2012, 2013, the Bush teams then. To today, just all the talent that's come through and the players. Sometimes I'll, get an old man, and tell these guys about, we played against this dude. We played, Aaron Gordon here. We played, De'Aaron Fox's first high school game was here. Yeah. He took an L. We played Cade Cunningham in the 4-band tournament. I mean, like the players, and then you have all the players just within the district too. So it's, it's special to get to just be a part of such good basketball and to coach such good talent. You want to coach, the kids who want to be the best and compete with each other. It's fun. Games like the other night against Clements, it sucked that we lost, but we fought. We came back and we competed, and that's what you want to see. Those games are, it's not fun to lose, but it's fun to compete against really good teams and really good players.
Talk about those 2 specifically, in Cameron and Timmy. How much do you think that people are kind of really overlooking those 2? Because like I said, they got Travis at 28-3.
Right.
I see, like, I've already said it. Cameron Newsom is my district MVP. Timmy is my defensive player of the year. Right. And obviously, Coach, you are my coach of the year. So I'm not going to even sit there. But those 2 specifically, what they've done, how overlooked do you think they are in this season?
I mean, I think they're definitely overlooked. And, part of that has to do with, I think, the AAU circuit and things like that and what team you play for and that kind of thing. And the best reason the biggest reason I think, especially colleges are overlooking them, is because of what great young men they are. Like you're getting kids who are going to come in and work and do the right thing. They're going to make the right choices off the court. They're going to take care of their grades. Like you're never going to have to worry about those 2. and they're going to maximize their ceiling because of just what great young men that they are. But like as players, like Cameron Newsom, like that dude can score. Like we saw it last night, 31 on senior night. He's not the flashiest out there, but he's going to get the job done. And Timmy's just what he can do, his body control, how he's developed his handle at his size. Again, like people are missing out right now and sleeping on those two.
Coach, I kind of want to get a little bit off a subject.
Sure.
But I do want to actually know your thoughts, because the one thing that's even more impressive than the Travis way, your feeder school and Bowie, the way they year in and year out, they're always in it. So I don't know if you really catch the middle school games.
I try, yeah, for sure, yeah.
But when you see like those guys' preparation, knowing that, they're the feeder school is Travis, we don't know where everybody's going, but like, the feeder school is Travis. Talk about that. Like, 'cause I feel like you have an effect on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of effect I have. I'm not out at middle school AAU games or anything like that. I mean, I hope people see what we've done, and I think it's a great place. Again, not just for basketball. Like, this is a great school. Both my kids went here. That's why I haven't looked for a job since I got here at Travis. This place is special. The people are special. The teachers are special. The administration's special. And again, we wouldn't have this success if we didn't have good feed. It takes kids, and players to have success. Doesn't matter what coaches are doing or any of that stuff. You got to have good players.
Year in and year out, what motivates you to keep doing this? Because, and then I want to actually ask you another question on top of that, because I'm actually in education, I'm a special ed teacher, just passed my SPED certification.
Congratulations, yeah.
Just talk about, like, in both ways, like, what keeps you going to keep teaching kids and also still being a basketball coach?
It's really just seeing them, like when I think back to these seniors when they were freshmen and then seeing them today and just the journey of becoming a man and getting to, again, play a small part in that. I'm also a competitor. Like, I love to compete. It's fun to take a team and try to, like, can we get the most out of this team? Doesn't matter how much talent they have. And I love to teach too. I teach college an AP economics class. I love my students. They're very much like my basketball players. Like, they want to learn. They're eager to learn. They're hungry to learn. So I enjoy it. I can't imagine what I'd do if I wasn't doing this. I'm decent at what I do, and I enjoy every day of it. So, I can't imagine doing anything else.
So now to the good stuff, Coach. To the good stuff. Coach, Fort Bend, you said that you started at Kempner. Talk about that experience and what did you see what kind of players and what kind of competition that you were facing when you were at Kempner?
Yeah, I mean, this was years ago, but I was a brand new coach out of college. I didn't know anything, but you see Rashard Lewis over at Elsick.
Yes.
You saw the Hastings teams back then when I very first started, and great coaches like Rick Shirley, coaching those teams. And then through the Willeridge teams, the TJ Ford, Daniel Ewing group, it was just like eye-opening.
Big Watt.
Yeah, once Hightower opened up and they had Laney Smith and those dudes, it was like, again, I didn't know what I didn't know at that point. It was again, it's like a trial by fire, in this district when you're coaching against great coaches who have great players. You got to learn quick, to kind of like they throw you in the pool. You got to learn how to, you're either going to sink or swim.
During those early years, what didn't you know that you kind of know now?
Man, we would be here for hours. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, because you don't know until you experience. Like, I hope and I believe I'm so much of a better coach than I was in 2013 in one state. Like, I just know more about the game. I understand how to relate to the kids better. I understand to keep the main thing. I don't worry about refs. Like, it's all this stuff that, like, focus on the things I control. I didn't know any of that. You're young and you worry about dumb things, and you try and do things that you don't have idea or philosophy yet about who you are as a coach or what you want to, what your teams need to hang their hat on, I guess.
Okay. You move on to Dulles.
Yes.
The legendary Coach Carabon, the Princeton offense, the back cuts, you will hit you from a mile away. Talk about that experience.
That was probably the best thing that ever happened to me was going to Dulles because, again, Mike's a great friend of mine, but he's just a fantastic coach. I don't know, 600, 700, I don't even know where Mike's at. He doesn't even know. Great person. Again, cared about the kids. I got to work over there with some other great coaches. Mike Nemi, who's the head coach at Pato, was over there when I was there. And there were great kids coming up. It was kind of a lull in the Dulles. It was, the Abel and Thomas were freshmen, I think my last year there, if I remember correctly. They had an older brother. But just getting to see that, you got to have players to be successful. You can do all as a coach, you can maximize, and that's your goal, is to maximize what your team can do. But if you don't have dudes, it does not matter, what you're doing. You can, you're not going to beat great teams. It doesn't matter what you're doing as a coach. And I got to see that there. And I did get to learn from Mike. Again, Princeton offense, everybody has negative connotations about the Princeton offense, which is crazy. We put up 91 points last night. I think we lead the district in scoring. It's not about an offense. It's about teaching kids how to play basketball. How do we create an advantage for you? And then now go make a play. It's not about, you can run any kind of offense you want. You got to teach them how to play, though. And so we try to run things that are going to create an advantage, and then now it's up to you to go make a play with that advantage.
Talk about as an assistant in playoff games. What intensity do you see? What was because you probably saw a game from a different eye when you're an assistant coach in playoff games.
Well, funny thing is, we didn't make the playoffs as an assistant, so I didn't make a playoff. I was never a coach in a playoff game until our first playoff game here in 2009 against Clear Springs. So
I never knew that.
No, yeah, because at Kempner we never made the playoffs. I go to Dulles, and those 2 years we weren't in the playoffs.
Oh,
and so my first experience with playoffs was 2009 Clear Springs by-district game, Pearland High School.
Okay,
it's good, but
okay.
Once you've been at it's not that different once you've been at Wheeler, and you got Wheeler's back to the
yes.
It's kind of the same thing.
So, Coach, now we're gonna get to the Travis way, where you remain, Coach. Yeah. As soon as you get here, 2007?
2006, 2007.
2006, 2007. What went into the process of kind of you becoming the new head coach at Travis?
I knew a couple of people who were coming over here, and, I still wanted to be a head coach again. So you go through the interview process, I was fortunate enough to be hired. And then it was just opening a new school is totally different. You don't know anything. It was a week before school. We didn't even have desks out. There were boxes everywhere. Yeah. It was crazy. And we were incorporating kids who'd been at Bush and Austin and trying to, bring them together. It was a challenge. It was something, it was probably good for me. I don't think I'd ever want to open another school. But it was fun,
So 2007, 2006, 07, this is my era, right? My era of basketball.
For sure.
The first star that you could say the superstar that came through here was Mr. Ray Penn.
Yep.
We know, like I said, the resume, Oklahoma State, Texas Southern, but at one point I felt like there was only one person that was his equal, probably in the state of Texas, in Tommy Mason Griffin. So
everybody's seen the YouTube.
Yes. I was actually going to that was actually going to be one of my questions, but just talk about when you started here, and obviously you got a talent like that, but with a plethora of other guys. Just talk about that year.
It was tough on Ray. Ray was super talented. He'd played some varsity at Bush as a freshman, and then he had to come over here and play JV, and that's not easy for a kid. He didn't want to play JV basketball, and so we had some growing pains between the two of us. He would tell you he'd never been coached by a white guy before. It was just and I think over time, Ray and I learned to, see the best in each other.
Yeah.
He's super talented, you couldn't, teams would double team him. And I was like, please do that, because then he's going to get by both of them. And, really talented kid, and was good for us because it allowed us to have some early success, because the rest of the guys around him were good players, but it wasn't, when you're playing with Anthony Odunsi as a freshman and then Drew and Prince were sophomores, they weren't ready. They needed like a talent like that for us to have any way to be competitive. Most teams back then, when they became varsity with freshmen and sophomores and juniors like we did, Hightower didn't win a game on varsity their first year. Bush didn't win a game. I think we might have won one, and we won. I think we were 7-11 in district because we had 10 district teams at the time.
Yeah.
So we won 7. We finished 5th, and with like no seniors, and that's a testament. A lot of that to Ray just being so good, because Anthony was a freshman.
Yeah.
He was good, but he's a freshman.
Yeah.
15 years old.
So talk about with 09. Obviously, you guys make the playoffs. Yep. It's his senior year. Can you say at that point, like, that was like the catapult and the catalyst to building the Travis way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that started, having some success and getting Anthony to, he was a sophomore then, and we had a good group of juniors as well. And just getting that taste of playoff basketball. We won our first round playoff game, got to play Port Arthur in the second round. They brought a little triangle into it at Ray and Anthony, and we struggled to the rest of our guys struggled to make some shots
because Jacobin Brown was gone at that time.
Yeah, he was gone. Okay. Still, they always have dudes out there.
Yeah. So, what did you learn about those, like the first 2 playoff games of your young Travis career?
Man, it's been a long time, but it was just getting that experience as a coach too. In that environment. You're like, man, okay, I got to have a plan for this triangle too. Like you always have to have a plan for everything that someone's going to throw at you. But again, getting to our culture when we talk Travis Way, we've got some core values we try to. And I think at that time we didn't have that culture built yet. We didn't have guys who necessarily, they would have bought in, but I hadn't been intentional enough about like the non-basketball part of the culture, if that makes any sense at all.
No, I got you, because honestly, I'm looking back at it. I want to say the 4 teams that was in the playoffs that year was you guys, Hightower, Elkins, and Bush. And I know that's when I picked Hightower to go to state, even though they disappointed me. Though.
Yeah, because we would have played them in the 3rd round.
Yeah. And I know that was the year that Miles Dixon hit the shot against Bush and beat him to go to the 4th round. So, okay. So I can understand, because at that time, like, those were like tough battles.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, okay, I understand that. But then 2010, Coach, I'm an Elkins alum of 2011. So I'm getting, so, Coach, this is where it's going to get fun. The fact that, I still kind of get on T to this day, because that Travis team that you had the year before probably kind of prepared them, because I feel like, because I believe you guys were a 4 seed.
We were a 4 seed.
You guys were a 4 seed, but the toughness of that team in that 3rd round game against Elkins is what I can vividly remember. I didn't play, but like I vividly remember going to that game and saying, "Oh, these guys finna win." Yeah. Prince Williams making plays. I think was Mark on that team. Mark Price. We had Anthony
on Yabuchi.
Yeah, and Abuchi. Yeah. So I'm just going back and looking at that game, and I said, "Oh, okay." That's when I felt like the culture began. Like, that game.
Well, I remember like it was a struggle that year. Yeah. In district, there were lots of good teams.
Yeah.
I think we clinched a spot the 2nd to last game, but we were going to be the 4 seed.
Yeah.
And I'd had to sit Prince for a little bit and Drew for a little bit. Just because like seniors sometimes like they're thinking about what's next. Mm-hmm. I got to get this. I got to. And they lose focus on what we need to do as a team. And then it's just like, it's weird how sometimes when playoffs hit, people realize like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we're all in the same boat now. And they really started to play that way. We played freaking Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And Terran
Padaway at Galveston Ball.
In the 1st round. Beat those guys.
Yeah.
Then we had to play Pearland 2nd round, beat those guys. Mm-hmm. And I knew like we played Elkins tough both times. And so I knew you have an advantage, I think, when you lost to a team. And I've had plenty of experience with Hightower later on. And, when you get kind of complacent sometimes, kids do when they've beaten. So we lost both games to Elkins that year. And so as a coach, you're trying to make adjustments. But if you're the winning coach, sometimes you're like, okay, what we did work. So we don't need to change what we're doing sometimes, And I think our guys just were a little hungry and, like I said, a little tougher.
Coach, so I'll say this. I don't know if you remember, but I'm an observant guy, and I remember your players because I remember the game before. It was Dulles and Bush and Dulles. Mm-hmm. And to see you guys see Bush win, I'm not saying it had nothing to do because I know it was the rivalry, but it just looked like okay, Bush, because, usually I always say, Elkins and Hightower and Ridge Point might be on one side of the track. You and Bush, you guys are on the other side. Yeah. So, I'm not saying it kind of had anything to do with you guys winning, but they were focused okay, we're going to try to top that. But I really want you to talk about that team, because to me, that was a team from toughness. Hey, Prince Williams is as tough as they get.
Yeah, it was a special team. And that run was special because we were a 4 seed. After we play that game, we go to play Bel Air, who was undefeated at the time. Yeah. They were just loaded. Yeah. Jim Hicks, my guy, he puts all his predictions. I think we were 35-point underdogs for a regional semifinal.
Yes.
It's like there was no respect on us. We hadn't done anything, I guess, but I knew that we had some good basketball players. We played hard. We played together. We played defense. Anthony was tough. He might not have been Sheldon McClellan, but that dude could score. And so it was look, we're going to have to play a certain way to beat Bel Air, but we can beat Bel Air, and we really should have. We're up 3 late in the game. We let a guy come open. We don't switch a screen, and their little kid, he went to HBU at the time.
Jonathan Evans.
Yes, Jonathan Evans hits a 3 to tie it up late.
Coach, for you to remember that this stuff like that still kind of those plays like that still gets on coach's mind.
I'd always gone to the regional tournament, right?
Yes, sir.
As a spectator.
Yes, sir.
And so we go in there the first time, and honestly, I was taking pictures, and one of my managers was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, there's a good chance we don't ever get back here. There's so many good teams that don't make a region semifinal.
Yes,
I had no idea we would be in 4 straight regional tournaments.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it was I'm going to enjoy
the moment
being here.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's how our kids played. They played loose, and they played to just it's us against the world. And, it would have been nice to have won that game against Bush to go to state.
And that's what I kind of want to piggyback off. 2010 specifically, we're talking 4 teams in the 3rd round from Fort Bend in the playoffs. And then, like I said, you got 2 teams in the regional finals. What does it say about Fort Bend District at that time?
Oh, it was nuts. And again, then the next 2 years we play Hightower Bush in regional finals.
Coach, we're getting to that. We were getting sir.
Katy wasn't the district, basketball as it is today. So it was back then you had, you'd have a team step up from a different district, but there was nothing like Fort Bend.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I'd done the math over a period of time, the records, Fort Bend schools in the playoffs was just insane. We knocked 7 losses, and 5 of them had been to each other.
Yeah.
It was just every year you'd end up having to play your own team again, to advance in the playoffs. It was some special team. Again, you got great coaches. You got Ronnie Courtney, you got David Green and Hightower.
Yes, David Green. Yes, he's the coach at Beaumont United now. But I got you. 2011. Enters come probably 2 of the most heralded players that ever, probably high-profile guys that ever came through Travis High School. 2 of the best players in the country, in Aaron and Andrew Harrison. They come in their sophomore year, 2011. Coach, when you find out they're coming to Travis, what is your mindset exactly?
I was excited about the guys we had coming back.
Yes.
We had Pop was going to be a senior. Yeah. We had Reggie Davis was going to be a senior.
Reggie Davis, yes, sir.
Jake Kennedy was going to be a senior. Yeah. So we had some other guys as well who were going to who were coming back. So it was like, wow, like we have a chance now to, when you bring in two guys who are that good, like we made a regional tournament last year. Like there's nothing stopping us from getting there again. Obviously, again, it's going to be hard, and there's lots of great teams out there. But you just see like, man, we've got a chance to really do something that, again, at that time, winning a state championship was like, you go to state as a coach, what are the chances you're ever going to get a chance to do that? So they made that vision, I guess, enter our brain as like a possibility just because of how talented they were. And it was hard for them, man, like, because all their friends, again, they grew up with all these dudes, but all their friends were on JV, you know?
Yeah.
So they had to go with some seniors. Some of them had some jealousy, you know, and it was hard on them. And I wasn't good enough as a coach back then to kind of understand what they were going through. You assume, man, these dudes are so good basketball-wise, but they're 16-year-old kids too at the end of the day.
When you look back on that 2011 team, because I really feel like that's one of the missed opportunities, but like when you look back on that team, what is like one thing, I'm not going to say regret, but you wish you could have done better?
No, absolutely. Just incorporating them with those seniors. We just never had, we didn't click as a team. You know, Anthony was trying to figure out his college situation, and, you know, you had multiple guys wanting to be the man, you know, if you will. We had other seniors. Again, Jake wanted to play college, and Reggie wanted to play college. Christian Crockett. Yeah, you know, and so we had too many people who had, I guess, their own agendas. And I didn't do a good enough job about getting us all focused on, you know, team has to be above me. And again, I could have done a much better job of incorporating them in with the seniors and just trying to get us on the same page. And that's where I failed as a coach, for sure.
Coach, I want to ask this question, and I'm asking it respectfully. Sure. I don't know how to kind of word it, but I'm going to try my best. Yeah. Around that time, do you believe that you were getting the respect as a coach? Because, like, for me, I'm going to tell you the truth. Right. Coach, I doubted you. Right. But I would say probably 2019 probably kind of hit the corner for me with you, because I was like, this guy's winning games. Like you know, because obviously you had the rumblings like, oh, he got great players. This is why he's in the position. Yeah. So do you kind of just, did you hear that, or did you believe like, yo, like, these players are making the team go?
I mean, so you have to have a healthy dose of insecurity.
Yes, sir.
But you can't have too much insecurity. Okay. I think at that time I probably had too much of that. Like, okay, you know, and sometimes I would question myself on things. Probably too much. Okay. But there's always, like, the players they make me as a coach. Yeah. We wouldn't have had the success I've accomplished as a coach without good players. But I do think there was, like, when you have two players like that, people, it's easy from the outside to not understand what you're doing as a coach. Exactly. Or outside criticizing the kids. Yes, like, there was another coach, and I'm not going to name names, but like on Twitter early, like, was kind of bashing the twins. It's like, you don't know what these kids are going through every day. You don't know them as people. And so I think it's easy to look at a coach, same thing, and be like, oh, well, he's got two of the best players in the country. Yes, sir. His job's easy. Yes, sir. And not see some of the other stuff that you have to do. Okay. And again, I'm a much better coach now than I was then. So I had a ton still to learn, and those years helped me grow as a coach. And that's what I've always tried to do, is continue to grow. I want to be a better coach next year than I'm this year. I don't want to ever stagnate. And, you know, I tell our kids, you're either growing or you're dying. And I need to live that myself.
Coach, obviously, I don't know if you saw some of the clips of me and Mr. Aaron Harrison.
I did not. I want to see it. I haven't seen that yet.
So, Coach. So, you know, we've had the big discussion, and Coach, honestly, I don't want you to pick, but I want you to kind of defend Aaron in a little bit. I said the best player in that era to me was D'Angelo Harrison. Oh, I said, Aaron, I enjoyed you in high school, but I just said, D'Angelo Harrison, night in and night out. What I see this man do, like, I love Coach Caravine, but that team his senior year, I the fact that they won 20 games, I still believe till this day that D'Angelo is the only dude that I would have handed the district MVP without making the playoffs. He's the only player that I've ever said that about. Aaron kind of thinks a different way. His big thing is, because I've always said this. I said, Aaron, D'Angelo didn't have the luxury of playing with the number one point guard in the country. But he says, well, you know, these games that Andrew went out, I have to do what I have to do. I said, okay, so just defend your guy. I love my boy.
Oh, I mean, D'Angelo was a dude, man. He was a bucket. But I got to go with my guy, Aaron.
Of course.
And Andrew. Like, I can't pick one over the other.
No. Yeah, yes,
I'm
sir.
not ever going to pick, because
Yeah,
I
of course.
love those dudes. Like, they have my heart. The stuff that they had to deal with, the expectations they had to deal with. And like Aaron's senior year, Andrew hamstring, like Aaron was having to do a lot. He was having to play the points. Like, the district was so loaded. You know, Bush was like Chandre,
Yes.
Kelly Oubre, Brandon Jones.
BB Jones, yes.
Like, they were loaded with dudes. So, like, the stuff that Aaron had to do, we had some, again, like, I'm not trying to, but his senior year, we were less talented than his junior year, you know, from top to bottom on the roster. And so he had to do a lot. Like, he still had John there. He had Ty Jordan there, you know. Chris Edey was there. But we didn't have a lot of size outside of the twins. Aaron had to pull more than his weight. He was always having to guard, you know, someone tough at the other end. He was always playing some defense. Let's be honest. He was a bucket.
But I saw 31 and 10. I saw, like, for him to win 6 district games.
Oh, I saw him at A-Leaf Taylor score every point for Dulles in the second half. So, I mean, I was there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, watching that game.
Yes, sir.
He's a certified bucket, man. So, yeah.
So, back to their sophomore year. Obviously, the regional finals.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it on camera because I'm pretty sure he wants me to say this. Aaron, we know you did not play. So
I think he tried to play, if I remember correctly, but he tweaked his ankle. We got behind 7 Lakes in the region semi by like 15, 18, something like that.
Trey picked me. Trey picked me.
Yes. And he played great, but he sprained his ankle late in the game. You know, in regional finals, we played, I think, the late game against 7 Lakes. So we're talking like, it was the afternoon the next day. You know, 12 hours, 14 hours later, he couldn't go. Anthony didn't have a great game, you know, that game. And then Hightower, we had a shot clock, just spreads us out.
Okay.
Just spreads us out, you know.
So it's funny that you say that because we're gonna have Jonathan Jordan on the show.
Okay.
And I just talked to him 3 days ago, and his message was just like, everybody says the shot clock. This was his message. Everybody complains about us in the shot clock, but nobody wanted to play us man to man.
Oh,
so that's his message. Like, y'all sat in the zone, so we take what the defense.
We didn't sit in the zone, but like, we could guard y'all 30 seconds for sure. Not okay, chasing you and Braylon at us.
Yes. So, Coach, talk about what is one thing from that game you kind of just remembered? Like, is there a play you said that you knew that it was like, man, okay, this might be the...
Man, there wasn't one play. It was just like, it just seemed like there was a lot going on with everything that season. And it just, I don't think it was our time. You know, we just weren't close enough as a team to figure out a way, you know, to get the win, because regional final, you know, there's going to come tough. You know, it was like seemed like a 6-point game the whole game. I don't even remember what the final was. I know we'd beaten them 3 times. And so you're trying to not let your guys get complacent. You know, and I just remember those guards they were too good to guard one-on-one. You know, that's the one thing, like Andrew and Aaron didn't play much, if at all. You know, guarding those little bitty dudes is harder when you're 6'5", 6'6". Anthony, you know, bigger guard.
Anthony
staying in front of those dudes is hard for them.
Daniel House was
Daniel House. So credit to them. And again, Jonathan Jordan was a tremendous high school basketball player in college. He had a great career in college. I followed him, you know, up at Corpus Christi. Great player. I do wish we had a shot clock. It'd be so much better for these kids. You know,
I do. Trust me.
With the development of kids in the game as the spectator.
The year skyline be Klein Forest. I said that's when I said they need a shot clock. 2012.
Yes, 2012.
Before 2012, I do want to kind of, well, before we get into that season, I want to ask about one specific team
Okay.
that you guys used to play and beat when you guys always used to play the Yates Lions.
Yeah.
So just talk about those days when, there was one clip that Jim Hicks predicted Yates by 15 and the Harrison twins was not having it. So just talk about those games when you guys got to play a Jack Yates, and you know that Coach Greg Wise is going to want to press. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, pressing the Twins was usually not a very good game plan.
Yeah.
Yates was the best at it, and they had a dude at the back end who could, eliminate 2-on-1s.
Yeah.
But I thought, man, open the season against a great team like that, give our kids a chance to just play in that environment, because you're hoping you're going to get to a big arena type place later on down the road. So it's like, there's nothing to lose by that. It's not about what happens on November 8th or whatever. It's like, how much do you grow? The whole preseason, we're working like 8 JV dudes against my 5 varsity dudes, trying to, as much as possible, simulate that speed and what they do. And those were fun games. And again, let the Twins prove how good they were on a stage like that.
Talk about that team, because obviously I would say, like, now the Twins are, you can say them and Crockett and the undisputed leaders. They know what happened a year ago. Right. They know what the message is now. Like, hey, you guys made it to the regional finals. We know Aaron didn't play, but now you guys are expecting state championship.
Right.
So just talk about that whole season. I got to shout out my boy Aaron again. We know that you were the district MVP in 2012, so I'm going to give you your flowers.
Yeah. And we had some young guys, like their boy John Burnett was on for the first time, getting him that experience in environments like that. The Yates game, we were still missing some football kids for that game. So it's like, man, it's going to be tough, because our best big, Kyle Coulter,
was the quarterback at Travis.
Yeah, so like he wasn't playing in that game, and but just the whole year, like, we were really good. We had size. We had Kyle. We had DeQuarius Davis, another football kid. Yeah. We had Christian. We had the twins. John was coming up.
Yeah.
And so that was a very talented, very, very good team. We lost a crazy game to Willow Ridge early in the year in the Spring Branch tournament.
Wow, Michael Hunter. No,
man, it was one of those like 10 a.m. Semifinal tournament games. And at that point, you're like, man, is this not like, we hadn't gotten there as a team yet.
Yeah.
And then throughout the season, we start to just really play just really good basketball, really guard. I remember we had some games where we'd shut out a good, I think, Elsick team in the second quarter, a 4-man tournament or something, or maybe held them in 2. Yeah. It's just like we could be really dominant defensively with these guys, with our size.
What was kind of the message to them that season, that specific season?
Well, that's like those years, like, I know people would probably criticize that Twins had the ball in their hand too much, but I knew they were going to make the right play.
Yeah.
And so we focused mainly at the defensive end. Like, if we can guard consistently, like we're going to be a tough team for anyone to beat if we just do it at the defensive end. Offense, we'll figure it out. We can get out run. They can find people in transition. We can run little ball screens with them. And, we got Kyle can pick and pop. DeQuarius is a roller. Christian can do a little of both. But mainly, like, we got to guard. Like, that's got to be our identity as a team, just making it difficult to score.
And once again, we know that the district that you guys were in, it prepared you. House was at House and Addison at Hightower. Yep. My boys, Chance Allen and Bradford Jones at Elkins. You still had Chandre Kelly and Cam Ridley at Bush. Just talk about those wars, how it kind of just prepared you for the deep playoff run.
I mean, that was I had to look this up this week when we were still undefeated. That was the only undefeated district team we've had, district championship team. So we've been district champs, and as of this year now 7 times. But that year, we somehow, I don't know how, we made it through that gauntlet.
Undefeated.
Play. That team, just special, just talented. Again, you have Andrew and Aaron on the wing. We've got bigs who can shoot the ball, which helps, obviously, and finish at the rim. Special team. And only stopped by a team who was their third straight year at state.
We're gonna get to that, Coach.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to
So there. Well, I don't mean to step on
good.
but like playoffs. We knew Bush was on the horizon.
Yeah.
Potentially third round, or North Shore. Right.
North Shore,
So,
yes.
But Bush ended up getting knocked off
by Hightower
yes.
in a crazy
that was
game.
that was the same day we beat North Shore.
North Shore.
As soon as we beat North Shore, we found out that Hightower had won, which I was thankful for.
Because House was going crazy down the stretch.
But I'm gonna be honest, Aaron always locked up House. Like, I'm gonna give Aaron his like. House did not. The year before, he had scored like 15 in the fourth quarter when we were up 30, something like that.
Yeah.
But like Aaron had him on locks.
Okay.
So I wasn't as worried about Hightower. With Cameron Ridley, Bush, he was going to be a problem. Obviously, Chandre's just a fantastic player. So like that North Shore team was loaded too.
Jonathan Motley
and those
Jalen
guards.
Hart. Yes. Coach, I want to actually talk about a player at Hightower because Chandre Jones mentioned it. He said, "Easy, the player that always changed the dynamics was Braylon Addison." Can you just talk about how good of a athlete? We know when he was on the football field, but on the basketball court dealing with them. How much did he kind of change those games?
The best thing was he wasn't a great shooter. So you could play off him a little because you had to play off him or you couldn't stay in front of him.
Yeah.
So like if the Twins get on him with their length, they can play off him a little bit and still contest a shot. He was just again like that year before. He's just dribbling circles around Jonathan Jordan. Like you couldn't take the ball from Jonathan Jordan.
Yeah.
Again, he didn't have a great 3-point shot at the time.
Yeah.
He didn't have to when you had to go chase him out at half court.
Yeah.
So Braylon was just an amazing athlete. That dude was special.
So 2012.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys make it to the state championship. Flower Mound, Marcus Smart, Phil Forte, Coach Danny Henderson.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that probably haven't played in moments like that. Obviously, the Twins they were nationally the number one point guard, number one shooting guard in the country. What do you tell your team going into an arena like that?
So, man, it was we had to play a really good San Antonio Warren team in the
Torian Prince.
Yes.
Torian Prince. Yes.
And Aaron went off for 30, I think, in the state semi. John Burnett was knocking down shots. So, like, we played so free and easy in that semifinal game. I think we scored, it was like 80-something to 70 game, like up and down, like really good back. A lot of times at state, teams are nervous. It's a weird environment at the Drum. You don't shoot the ball well. And we just played so free and easy. Like, I was like, okay, we're playing as well as we played again, getting through North Shore, who was really good. And then, playing Warren as well as we did. You watch Marcus on film, and Marcus Smart, and I'd seen him, win the state championship the year before. Phil Forte, that dude was
a good knockdown shooter.
Yeah. I mean, the best, man, there's been a lot of good shooters. I can't remember a better high school shooter I've seen. They had the kid who went to New Mexico.
Oh, Nick Banyard, yeah.
They were just, and they'd been there. So you're just like, man, let's just go out and see what we can do against these guys. And it was a heavyweight battle the whole game. We had a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter against those guys. It's like, man, we got to just keep making plays and give them credit. They made a few more plays than we did in that fourth quarter.
What did you learn about your team after that game?
Man, that they're again, the one thing about the Twins, and they led everything, they drove our winning, is their competitiveness.
Okay.
They were the ultimate competitors every day in practice, and that just lifts your team up when you have guys who are they want to compete. They're not taking drills off. You put one on one team, one on the other team, like there's going to be a winner in every drill. They don't want to lose. And they care. Like they cared about their teammates. Again, a lot of people just see them from the outside or they see their body language and stuff like that. And people want to make judgments about 16, 17-year-old kids. They cared very much about Travis and about their teammates.
Aaron told me that he felt the one thing he regrets, he didn't play well in that championship game. Coach, so the one thing I want you to comment on, when you guys lose that game, was there a sense, we'll be back?
Not really, man.
Woo!
I mean, it's so hard to get there.
Well,
Like,
coach,
that's
when
the
you
thing.
when you got the two best players in the country,
sure.
is there
Well,
no sense like
mean-
we'll be back?
No, I mean, you're in so much like pain over the season that's been, and the kids feeling their pain, the seniors who didn't accomplish their goal. You think like, okay, we're going to be good next year, but we lost so many really good seniors from that team. So much of our size. Again, we lose Christian, we lose Kyle, we lose Aquarius. So it's just like, we had a really good freshman team. We had good sub-varsity teams, and you knew you had two of the best players in the country. But I'd seen so many good players who never made it to state. So many great coaches who never made it to state.
But coach, the difference is good players. You had two of the best. Like if you had one, I might be worried. But you had two, coach. So like it had to be some sense like, okay, we understand, but
yeah.
like you said, it wasn't your top.
I mean,
it was
Bush wasn't going away though.
Yeah.
Chandre was going to be a senior. Like Kelly Oubre was. Like they weren't going away in Houston.
Yeah.
So you just never know what's going to happen. A guy tweaks an ankle like Aaron did his sophomore year.
Yeah. Okay.
So you just anything can happen. Well, it's hard. Winning 5 playoff games is hard.
Yes. So 2013, coach, I'm gonna say this right now. I really believe that year. I can't sit here and lie to you. I think you guys coasted until the playoffs. Coach, I really believe you guys weren't gonna play at your best until 5 games. Like, you could afford to sit Andrew down. Like, okay, you hurt? Okay, you know what? Just, if you don't feel like playing, we'll be okay. I really believe that you guys coasted until it was time for business, because you guys went to a state championship. So,
Right.
I really believe in, even though you guys didn't win the championship, I believe in championship fatigue. Like, like Draymond Green once said before Sacramento was good, who wants to play Sacramento on a Tuesday? That's not motivating. So
I get that.
So how did you basically motivate those guys?
We tried to, and we still talk about with our kids today, like on the schedule, put together like, okay, we're playing Travis today. We're playing because we're not playing Austin or Kempton or whoever. We're playing like, who can we be? Because again, if you want to win a state championship, you're going to have to be the best version of who you are. So tried to Andrew's hamstring kept bothering him for sure. Like, he definitely wasn't trying to milk that or anything. But we did want him to be healthy. Like we knew if we were going to do anything, we needed to be healthy. But there's natural complacency, especially for guys at that level who've played the kind of teams that they played, to just kind of like, okay, we got to go and play these guys tonight. But we knew, again, try and keep the main thing. Like, we have to be focused on a bigger picture here at the end of the day.
So is that, when you say the bigger picture, Coach, I'm going to ask you this with all due respect. Is that why you guys lost to Bush 3 times in the regular season, Coach?
So, four-man tournament.
Yes.
That's Andrew had hurt his hamstring.
Okay.
We had no Andrew.
Okay.
The first time we played him at Hobson, I think we had Andrew, but he was still a little banged up. And we're up 3 late in overtime or regulation. They travel their off. They don't call it. Chandre hits a 3 to tie it. Like, it was the most obvious travel you've ever seen. And then Chandre bangs a 3 to tie it. And I can't even remember the Wheeler game. Like,
because Chandre
was tough.
Chandre iterated like, hey, easy. They both played. It's okay. They both played. So they got that work through. You were the best player in the district that year. I said, I tell him, I'm 17 and well, I think 17 and 1. I said, he was rightfully earned the district MVP.
No, I mean, Chandre was fantastic. But we, I don't want to blame refs. Let's put into that. Coach Courtney has some magical presence that, like, somehow, like, I don't know, the aura, whatever it is.
It's real. It's real.
we had both twins for one of those games that they beat us, and give them credit for that.
Yeah.
I felt good about our chances in the regional tournament.
And the only reason why I ask you, because I think during COVID, I interviewed Andrew, and I asked him about that regional final game, and this was his exact words. He said, "Easy. I literally woke up that morning and said, I'm not losing to those guys." So that mindset, I feel when the Twins are locked in like that, nobody is beating them. Yeah. So that's why I said I believe in. I'm gonna stick by my statement. I believe it was a coast season to get to the bigger picture.
And at the end of the day,
yes, sir.
We got there. We did what we needed to do. I remember Aaron hit a couple shots early against their zone, and then just Andrew was just a dog. Like he got to the free throw line. I don't know how many. He scored like 25.
Yeah,
probably got the free throw line like 12, 15, and because they couldn't Oubre couldn't guard him.
Yeah,
Andre was too little. Brandon Jones couldn't guard him. So we're like, okay, we're gonna spread you out like they love to do to you. And once we had the lead, like, come guard 2 All-Americans.
Coach, I got a question. I don't know if you're going to answer it.
Okay.
But I got a question. And I see my producer laughing in the background because I think he knows where I'm going with this. Obviously, I interviewed Chandre Jones.
Yep.
Obviously, we talked about another great high school point guard in Jonathan Jordan.
Yep.
I told Chandre on the show, I kind of favored Jonathan Jordan over him in high school. Because I said this, and you know what? My determining factor has something to do with your teams.
Okay.
I said, Jonathan Jordan got the job done against Travis and Winter State. You did it. And obviously he can't. Obviously he hit me with the same thing that you said. Well, if there was a shot clock, it would be different.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
Man, I got to go with Chandre. I got to. He was tough. And like one of the things, just simple things we did in the regional final was we just set some traps at Chandre to get it out of his hand, and then make somebody else run the offense for them. Because again, Oubre was still young, wasn't really a creator. Brandon Jones, and so it's like, okay, like if we can get it out of the general's hand and make somebody else, do something, just a small thing that allowed us. But Chandre was he was tough, and so was Jonathan Jordan for sure. But we were better when Chandre had to play us than we were when Jonathan Jordan, I think. Our team was our 2012 team and our 2013 were better than our 2011 team.
So, Coach, this is what I would say. This is a little bit of my argument.
Okay.
With the 13 team, I said I still think that you guys were still the best team, but because I told this to Chandre on the show, I feel like at that time, 2013 specifically, I said, well, let's be honest. I said, Chandre, I think that you were just looking at one team to look up at, and it was Travis. Because that was the year that I think the realignment happened with Marshall and Willow Ridge going down to 4A and 5A. I don't think the district was as strong in 13. I think we knew that it was about 2 teams, Bush and Travis.
Right.
So,
yeah, but it was probably like that in 2012 too. I don't remember.
No, but 12. House, and I said Bradford and Chance were still at Elkins in 12, and it was still a forefront. So
no, I mean 2013. It was just the whole year. It's like, okay, in this region, but Pearland was really good too. We had to beat a really good Pearland team in the second round, and both twins fouled out in that game. Tyrone Jordan did
the big shot,
on his birthday to take the lead. We still had to get 2 stops after that because we missed a 1-on-1. After getting a stop, we had to get another stop. Again, Twins got fouled out, 1 on a charge, 1 on a block. We took a charge, they called a block. We go to the basket, they call a charge. Back-to-back possessions. We don't get either call, and had to somehow get past a really good Pearland team in the second round. That year was a tough every round.
Coach, I want to ask about a specific round.
Okay.
Why didn't the West Side guys shake your hands after the game in that 4th round? I
don't even. I remember, but I don't know why. Because I don't think there was beef. So
I was just looking like they didn't shake your hands. But the one kid I do want to talk about is, I call him Big Game John, because every time I looked up he's hitting the three from the corner and he's throwing up this. And I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's when. So just talk about his development, because I think that he was a guy that timely buckets.
Yes. Yeah. No, John Burnett's one of my favorite kids I've coached. He was just a hooper. Like, he was just like, he just go out there and hoop, you know, and he's just doing his thing. And like you said, like, he's open in the corner, he's going to knock down a shot.
Yeah.
We've got a kid on our team this year, Jalen Jones, sophomore, just reminds me of John. Just like, he's just a basketball player. You know, nobody's going to notice him when he walks in the gym. Very unassuming kid, very quiet kid. But John was just gonna he wasn't afraid of the moment. I remember in 2012 he hit all those threes in the semifinal game against Warren, and you know, you'd take a couple kids to the press conference afterward, and John didn't want to speak in front, like he did not want to do an interview or anything, and he was so nervous being up there. I was like, John, man, you earned this moment, man. Just be here and like enjoy being here. I love John Burnett. I still check him out on Instagram. He's a father now. I'm very proud of John.
You guys reached the state championship.
Yep.
You guys win it. Talk about like that moment. What did it do for you and your family?
Man, it was more of a relief, probably. Man, this is gonna be tough. So my mom passed away 3 days before.
Oof.
So that whole week was just like the emotions of the 2 years the expectations and the pressure on those kids, you know, because they were nationally ranked and people don't understand how hard it is. I felt relief and I felt happiness for them, you know, like, because I knew all the people, everybody's got to talk, right?
Yeah.
I can take it,
Yeah.
but they're 18-year-old kids, you know.
I got you.
So I was glad for them because they'd been through a lot. There'd been a lot of pressure on them as kids. Obviously, myself was an emotional week for me.
Yeah.
But it was special. You know, it was special getting to do that. Because again, that's when people see, right? They see, did you win the championship? And I try and tell our team even today, like, there's only one team that's going to win the championship. A scoreboard is never going to dictate who we are and the kind of season we've had.
So in that moment, I do want to kind of just talk about, obviously, in a tough moment, how much does your family mean to you in moments like that?
Oh,
Your wife and kids, like, just express that, because like when you win a championship, it's like you the culmination of work, the hours, the missed time spent to reach that moment. Talk about that.
I'm going to try here. You know, because my wife's at pretty much every game. My kids were young and they'd been in the gym with the kids. I knew my mom was watching.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was there, and it was just getting to see them, and they knew what I'd put into it personally.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people on the outside probably don't.
Okay.
And just getting to hug them and hug my players because I love those dudes. It was special. But every year's special. I cry easily.
No, you're good. You're good.
Like,
you good, coach?
Whenever this season ends, I'm going to be like this because, man, I give all my heart to these guys, and it's every year. It's just special. So,
Coach, that was beautiful, man. I appreciate the emotion, Coach. This is what the Easy Corner is about. We wanna give you your flowers and highlight the decorated career of a Craig Brownson. Like guys like you is the reason why I'm sitting here. I never thought that I would be able to do this, but like you taking a chance and come on my show, like that's what means anything. But the question I do have, when you win a championship like that, and it obviously in the state of Texas, at the highest classification too, people got to realize that. Does that validate you as a coach?
It shouldn't, because that shouldn't be what my goal. Because again, like I could name off so many great coaches who didn't, just because they didn't have player, whatever circumstance, might care about it.
Yes.
Like great coach, he made it all the way to state final.
08, Warren. Yeah.
And that's where, and we try and teach this to our kids. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Ooh, I like that. Cause I might have to use that. Yeah.
We got some bars here.
Yes.
You can't like that. If that's my goal, then what does that mean this year? I'm a failure. Okay. It's all about the process and the development of the team and trying to be the best team. because you never know who you're going to run up against. If we play Florida Marcus in 2013, we don't win. We weren't as good in 2013. In 2012, if we play anybody else, we're probably state champs that year. You know, you probably don't win in 13. You never control who you're going to come up against. You don't control shots going in all the time. You know, there's so many things that are outside of your control. So you can control as a coach. You can control, you know, are you getting your kids ready to play? Your kids can control like how hard they played, how their attitude and their execution. But at the end of the day, like the ball bounces, the game's over. You know, you got to put the pieces back in the box, right? When the game, right? It's like you move on to the next game. So it probably people think I'm a better coach because I was a state champion. Man, I'm a much better coach today than I was then. And I'm proud of that I've grown as a coach and I'm better now than I was. I wish for all those younger teams, I was as good then as I am now, because I wish I had even more to give them back then. But it's special. You know, I didn't ever used to wear the ring, and now I wear it on game days just because I sometimes I didn't want to be like, I don't want to brag. But it was a special year, and it took a lot of work to do it. So,
yeah. Talk about the Travis community, because I believe it's one of the best fan bases in the city. You could argue the state, but just talk about the Travis community. Like,
it's a special place. You know, I wish our fans would be louder at games. You know, I wish we had those crowds that would have chants at like the Seven Lakes, you know, crowds and things like that. But it's just, there's special people here. The administration special,
led by my former English teacher, Sarah LaBerge.
Starting back with Miss Kyle when we first opened, who didn't know anything about high school sports because she'd been a middle school principal. And then once we got good, and she was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun." Then she'd end up sitting back there cussing out refs. And then Julie Diaz was fantastic for Travis. So we've always had, you know, special. And again, the people who work in administration, the other teachers. I got to give a shout out to Miss Martinez, who's always here at our games, and her husband, Brian Martinez, have always been supporters, and he was a coach with us for a while. So we have so many people who, their kids go to school here. Again, my kids went to school here. Like, when you have teachers who want to bring their kids to the school, you know, it's a good place. Yeah. So, it is, I'm very fortunate.
Coach, I'm a little jealous, I'm a little envious, because I heard that you're a great cook. So I'll be seeing I see on Instagram the Christmases, the day before the playoffs. But Coach, more than the meals, how much does that time mean to you?
It's huge. Like, kids want to know you care about more than just basketball. Like, it's about so much more than the game, because for them, the ball is going to stop bouncing, some of them sooner rather than later. And they need people around them who just love them for who they are as people, not just as basketball players. So their value to me is never based on how good of a player they are. It's about who they are as a young man. We're going to try and help them in their growth to be the best men they can be, so that they one day can be a great partner, a great father, when they reach that stage of their life.
There's two more teams I kind of want to touch on.
Okay.
The first team, 2016, Zach Naylor.
Yep.
I want to say, was it Cameron Hill?
Cameron Hill.
Morris Udizi.
Yep. Golden Amati, Sagan Colbert, Mike Williams.
I want you to talk about that team, because that team was as scary as it can be. If you guys didn't have Kendrick Davis and at Sam Houston, Atakasita was obviously undefeated that year, and we all know what De'Aaron Fox was doing his senior year. I think that Travis team would have been as special as I've ever seen it. And the reason why I asked that team, because I'm an Elkins alum. I vividly remember the Fort Bend tournament game when I thought you guys had Elkins beat, and my heart was beating the whole time. But just talk about that team.
Yeah, really talented team. Khalil Butler is on that team.
Okay.
Too. Man, those guys, again, a lot of special kids and talent. We never really clicked at the right time as a team. I think, there's just like connection that you have to have, or eventually something's going to trip you up. And that year, I think that year was the A-Leaf Taylor year. I got to go back where we had beaten them in district both times. and we lost to them in the third round over at Seven Lakes. Or we would have gone to the regional tournament, and we were good enough to go to the regional tournament and make some noise.
Yeah. Because I think Attack Casino might have been on the other side at the time.
I believe
So because I think it came down to Cy Lakes and Sam Houston.
right.
For original final.
Sam Houston, I think, might have been A-Leaf Taylor in this region 7.
Yeah,
I think. You know, A-Leaf Taylor, we beat them twice. The last time it was 2 at their place, and again, you get that. You beat a team twice. Do you take them lightly? We should have beat them. We were up 5 late in the game, and we missed a box. And I still will reference this to my teams today. There were like 3 possessions in a row. We don't box out. Offensive rebound. We don't execute down the stretch, and they get a last possession tie game, miss a shot. They're big at the time. I can't remember his name. Really good big. Tip in at the buzzer, or 2 seconds left to beat that team. Yeah. And that's the margins in the playoffs. You know, if you, one box out, we're probably the better team. If we play them 10 times, we probably beat them 7, but margins are small. And if everybody's not doing their job, that's what happens in playoff games.
And then the last team I really want to talk about, Coach, I'm going to look in the camera because he's one of my favorite players of all time, Mr. Justin Hill, and the 2020 team.
Yeah.
The greatest game that I didn't come to. The greatest game. I don't know where, because it was another big game at that time. I think I was at the other game in 2020 because 2020, I think, where was I at?
I don't know. Dickinson was still around. Who?
Yeah, because I said I don't know. It was another third round game I was at because I just remember not going to that game.
Right.
But I can tell you I was at a big. I know it was just another big third. But I saw that game. Okay, first before we get to that playoff game, I'll get there. But talk about that team with Justin Hill, Zool, and all those, and Cameron Oliver,
Mackay,
McCoy.
Yes.
Just talk about that team because, Coach, I knew I was questioning, and I actually told him, Justin, and you're not going to win the district MVP. I just remember the games that I was going to, and I think the game that I went to that I knew that Justin Hill was on a mission was the Marshall game when you guys played at Marshall. And I think that he finished with 30 and 5 and 7 and he's going to make sure that this team is going to stay relevant.
Yeah, he took a leap. And it was unfortunate because in AAU, he wasn't.
No, I was there.
He was just passing the ball to Hayden Hefner. He didn't get to showcase what he could do.
Yeah.
And early in the year, a bunch of our guys, like Camo was still in football, Joe was still in football. So we were really shorthanded, and we lost at Cy Creek, the first or second game. But Justin just put up 30 and just couldn't miss, and was just taking over the game for us, kept us in against a really good Cy Creek team. And you're like, wow, man, he's definitely taken the next step. And then all year he was just tremendous for us. He's always a quiet leader. He wasn't loud. He wasn't, he just kind of did his thing. But yeah, Camo, as soon as he got off the football field, he was ready to hoop. And Mackay really took a jump that year because Mackay didn't play much as a sophomore.
Yeah.
He just, it takes a while for kids, you got to run your own race.
Yeah.
But then we had other guys who just bought into their role. Against Zool, I love Zool to death. Joe Cadet, big football player, came in and played inside. Excuse me.
You guys had Parker.
Yes,
Parker was on that team.
Can I get a drink of water?
Oh, you're going, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, there it is.
And Schenkel?
KJ Schenkel. Parker came off the football field. So we had a lot of dudes in football that year who helped us tremendously, and they just bought into a role. Sometimes you get kids who, as football players like Parker, D1 commit, they expect a certain level of treatment.
Yeah.
Came over, just wanted to be part of the team.
Yeah.
And compete. And he never played until his senior year.
Well, what made you get those guys to come play?
Well, KJ had played. KJ actually took his sophomore year off. I don't know why. And people were telling me Parker wants to come and play. I said, if he can help us, and if his attitude's right, that's the big thing. Because he wasn't going to play over Camo or Mackay or Justin. He just wasn't good enough. But he was a great athlete. he could handle it and shoot it well enough where it was like, okay, he can. And he was such a great kid. Like, I didn't know him at all, really. But once I met him and like, okay, this kid can, like, he can understand his and just play. And he was like awesome. Like, I loved every minute of coaching Parker.
We get some Morton Ranch.
Oh, that game.
3rd round. Wheeler. It was at Wheeler.
It was.
Wheeler Fieldhouse, coach. I think the other game I went to was good. I'm still trying to remember. It's bothering me that I don't remember because I usually know those things. But talk about that game because the stars were out. Justin Hill, L.J. Cryer, Eddie Lampkins, Cam Oliver. Yeah. Talk about. I almost compare it to the game last year with Clements to Seven Lakes. Yeah. I said, I don't know if I've seen the way Wheeler Fieldhouse was packed that night. Yeah. What do you remember? I saw the highlights, elite shot making. Yeah. That's what that's the name of the game when I talk about that game.
I mean, it was, man, one of maybe the best high school basketball game I've been a part of.
Okay, you know? I believe it. I mean, yeah,
like, just 98, 94 high school game.
Yeah, no shot clock.
No shot clock. And like, we were trying to play defense. It wasn't like again, I hope my teams are known for guarding people. Yeah. But like, we couldn't guard Eddie Lampkin. Like, and Joe was trying, but like, he can't guard. And Lampkin been hurt most of the year, and all of a sudden, okay, he's healthy for playoff time, you know. Mm-hmm. And L.J. Cryer, like, you couldn't stop him. And they had other dudes who would hit
Westlake Sellers, yeah.
You know, and it was just like, it just back and forth the whole game. You know, the whole game back and forth. Like you said, they make a shot, we make a shot, we take a lead. L.J. hits a shot. You know, KMO with obviously the huge shot to send it to overtime right there. Justin gets fouled late. We're down 2 and they foul him. So in overtime, it's like, okay, but he misses the first one. And we're out of timeout. So then you're like, okay, do we miss the second on purpose? And do we have time to foul? And I still remember that because we had to make the decision that he missed the second on purpose and we don't get the rebound. But just, you know, fantastic game. And again, I'm glad that those guys went out playing their best. You don't want to, and that's where you talk about, like, your season's not a failure because you we couldn't have played much better than that. We competed our butt off. We just ran into a team that was better than us on that day. So, you know,
I think that's one of the best games. I don't know what the future holds, but that's going to be one of the games talked about, like one of the best games of the decade. Because when I saw that high scoring game, I'm seeing elite shot making. I'm seeing the crowd. I was with the defenders that whole summer. So like Eddie with the antics and Justin, I'm just like, ow. And the thing about it is, I live closer to Wheeler. So in whatever playoff game I was at, I'm still kind of regretting it because I was like, Wheeler's down the street from the house. But like that team, when you guys walk off the court in that game, what do you tell that team?
The same thing I just said. Like, a scoreboard's not going to define us. Like, we had a great year, 31 wins, district championship. Only one team's going to win a state champ. You know, like, just be proud of what you accomplished as a team. The moments we got to experience, that you got to be a part of something like that is special. Lots of kids would love to get to experience, even losing again, just being in that environment and getting to play in front. Like, our crowd that night, we had more Travis people there than, like, since we won state. And it was just, I still have pictures of that crowd. Like, it was amazing. Just the Travis community coming out for that team and what they were able to accomplish. And it's fun to get to coach in that situation.
Okay, Coach. We're going to get to some fun stuff because we're almost near the end. Top 5 Travis players all time.
Oh, my God.
Yes, Coach, you know it was coming.
Why are you doing this?
You know it's coming. Coach, it's okay. Top 5.
I'm not ranking them. I'll give you 5 names. Right?
5, okay, let's go. I'll take that.
Man. I mean, Aaron and Andrew have to be on there.
And you know what? I'm going to let Aaron and Andrew be together so you can give me 4 more.
Okay. Man. This is so tough because I'm just going to make somebody mad when I leave them off.
Hey, so
you know I'm going
to. Coach, you've been here. Sooner or later, Coach, that court is going to be turned into Brownson Court. I can't wait. I'll be here that day too when it happens.
Man, I mean, they're all so special to me, man. You know, Ray was a special player.
Yes.
Pop was a special player.
Yes.
Justin. See, I'm already at 5 right there.
Yes, yeah, and I think that was my 5. I think that was my 5.
I mean, you
Okay,
want to I've left off. I mean, like
Zach
like,
Naylor.
yeah, Zach, Javante, Mackay, my district MVP, Mackay, McIntyre right there.
Yes.
You know, later years again, Justin Mack.
Yes.
The two dudes this year, like, see, I'm not. Once I retire, I can sit back and, like, you know, put it all into context.
So, Coach, when you decide that's the day that you call me, and
There you go. Yeah, but we need more than 5. Like,
okay,
these dudes, like, they deserve their flowers too.
Okay, Coach. Okay, I got another one.
Okay, all right. Jamal Williams. Man.
Oh yes. Mount Rushmore of Fort Bend coaches. Hey, but Coach,
I've been in the district.
Coach, you know, but I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. You're in my Mount Rushmore.
Oh no,
I'm
not putting myself in
Coach,
no, not at all. But,
you're in my Mount Rushmore.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes,
but, you know, you got Mike. I got to go with Mike Caramine.
Coach is 4, Coach. So just make sure that you.
I got to go with Mike Caramine because I wouldn't be here without him.
Okay.
Ronnie Courtney,
of course.
See, I don't know if I can put David in there because he wasn't in here long enough. He had to move on to another job.
But I get it. But his impact was.
But like Albert Thomas has been at Elkins for like.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Albert.
Okay. I'll give it to.
I'm here at like I respect the dudes who stay at somewhere and just build.
Okay.
And no offense to anybody else out there. Everybody does it their own way. But like when you stay at a place and have sustained success, that's hard. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how many teams go through. Even the Cy Falls team you're talking about, like, and Coach Flores does a great job there. They won like 5 games after they won state. Like the teams that have sustained success, like what Albert's done at Elkins. So I've already got 3 there. Mm-hmm. Like, see again, I'm gonna piss somebody off when I don't mention them. I mean, you've had. You had Gary Nichols.
Oh, I thought I was waiting.
Well, I mean, but like he retired. He left Marshall
2017 and went to state.
No, I know. Yeah. And they stopped playing us in 14 or 13, right? So we didn't really see them that much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you got to throw them on there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm leaving off so many good coaches. Like, I mean, Hightower's had just PV, David Green,
Woods.
Yeah, Woods has been there. You know, you got Van over at Clements.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so every night you're like you got to be on your game. You got to have your teams ready because the other guy is going to have his team ready.
Okay, Coach. Okay. Because I was, I'm throwing the. Okay, Coach.
Yeah. See, I'm not trying to give anybody clips and any kind of ammunition to use against us. You know,
Coach. Okay. You know, this is gonna be hard for me. So you know what? I'm gonna do a start bench cut, and we're doing teams. Okay. So I'm gonna say start bench cut. 2011, 2020. I want to say this year's team, but it's too recent. But like, so. But
I mean, if you want to, man, I'm starting them.
2011.
Yeah.
2020,
and
this year's team. Start bench coach.
I'm starting this year, and I don't know. Does start bench mean they're the best? I don't know.
Okay,
but like just, and again, maybe it's recency bias.
Okay,
but just daily being around them.
Okay,
and again, 2020 was a great group too.
Yeah.
Really, just the teams who love one another. And love playing for each other. Those are the favorite teams for me.
Okay. So I couldn't put 12 and 13 in there because they were just
2011 was just tough for so many reasons.
Yeah.
And like again, we did a lot, but we left something on the table there.
Okay.
I don't think I did a good job as a coach in 2011.
Okay.
So, personally, again, like 2020. Nobody thought they would be a third-round team probably.
Yep.
This year, I promise, nobody thought we would be district champions this year.
Okay.
When you look at Ridgepoint, they had everybody back from last year. And again, Darren does a great job with those guys. But this group, and it's probably partly is my journey as a coach too. I think I'm a better coach now than I was in 2020 than I was in 2011. So I think I've done a better job of getting the most out of this team.
And what my second to last question, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Man, I just want to have impacted these kids and help prepare them, help them go to college if basketball is in their future. But more importantly, like, it's not about 4 years, it's about the next 40.
Ooh, I like that, Coach. I like that.
Hopefully I've shown them, like, or helped them learn to be a man of character, with integrity, who works hard, and is loving to the people around them.
I love it. And my last question, I kind of end it like this always. Rate your experience on the Easy Corner.
Oh, it's been fantastic. This has been great. I love, like, talking about these old teams. I don't get to do it enough. Coach Griff's always talking about he's going to write a book. He's going to be my ghostwriter because, like, some of the stories that we can't talk about on the Easy Corner.
Of course.
But we could put in a book for sure.
Yes, sir.
It's been fun because, again, sometimes I don't take the time to look back at what has been what we've done here at Travis. I'm just part of it. But it's been such an amazing ride. So it's fun to get to relive the memories, the good and the bad ones. So I'll come on anytime.
I appreciate it. It's been another episode of the Easy Corner here with my coach of the year, state champion, also college economic teacher, Mr. Craig Brownson. Coach, man, thank you, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.